Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That over there is Cash Kraus. And today we are doing a new segment on the podcast where we review a film from India. And Cash, with this new segment, what is the first film we decided to do?
Yes, we decided to do. Well, it might not be India every time. We should make that clear.
Yes, it will be foreign films.
Yeah, it will be a foreign film every time. But we are doing the horror film Tumbbad.
Yes.
And this is a film that we did a reaction trailer to a couple weeks ago, right?
Uh-huh. Yep, last week.
And we got a lot of people saying, if you're going to review any movie, review this one. They're saying this one is just different.
We'll take it.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because it premiered, the first Indian film ever to premiere at the Critics Week section of the 75th Venice Film Festival. That's pretty fucking big.
International Film Festival.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it went on, it screened at Fantastic Fest, Stig's Film Fest, the Scream Horror Film Festival, all international film festivals.
Yep.
So we said, hey, we love horror. We're living in an almost horror-like scenario in our real world, so why not?
Why not review a horror film?
And this is our first, this is our first Bollywood film that we have reviewed on this channel.
It is. Yep.
So
we've done a lot of reactions now, but now we're jumping into reviews, full-on movie
and we've
reviews.
only heard amazing things about it. So that's why we chose this.
We had to choose it. Yeah, and it was one of the most highly recommended to review rather than just to react to.
Absolutely.
So we absolutely had to do this.
And from what I saw, I'd say, yeah, worth it.
I get it. I get why you were recommending this movie to us.
This film is different. I mean, not saying it's just different. It's different just from films. I mean, it is. It's interesting. Let me talk about just the plot. I'll give you the most vague plot.
Let's hear the most vague plot.
Like, this is almost like someone told this guy just the bare bones of what the film was. He's like, yeah, I can write something about that.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
A man and his son encounter a legendary demon while searching for hidden treasure in 19th century India.
And we just got to talk about the opening scene for this film. Had me hooked right away. I love the storytelling within the god.
Same.
And then telling the story of Hastar.
It doesn't wait to jump right in.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's what I like about it.
It doesn't waste any time at all. And it explains so much of what you needed to know to understand the concept of the entire film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that plot is just, I mean, it's very vague. A man and his I mean, there's so much. There's so much more.
So much more than that.
That is almost nothing at all what the actual plot is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, not at all. But yeah, that's what I liked about it. It starts right off the bat, and man, for one, the CGI is really good. And the practical effects are very good.
The practical effects is something that actually blew me away. Like, I thought it looked great.
And you know that's something not everyone knows, but something we love on this podcast is practical effects.
But that's why we love Guillermo.
We'll get into the womb. Just the room is fucking amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And it took about 15 to 20 days to shoot that.
I don't doubt it.
Inside of there. Yeah.
That was when you first get into that the very first time, and you're like, what the fuck? It teases it, but it doesn't get into it until late in the movie. Yeah.
You know the Hastar, the demon, right?
Yeah.
It took 6 to 7 hours of prosthetics every single day for that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because it looked amazing.
It looked really good. And then when all the Hastars are coming out, all the demons are coming out later on, it was very impressive.
And Hastar, I guess, completely made up. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The guy
convinced me.
So there's a guy, he's like India Stephen King. He only writes horror films.
Really?
And all of his films, I'll even show you because I looked it up. I went in a little deeper, but all of his films, because this is a star, the goddess, all his films, or all of his books, this guy, I don't know, you can try to say his name. His last name is Dorap.
Narayan Dorap.
He's like the India Stephen King, where all his books are connected in one way or another.
Oh, that's cool.
But a star is like a common demon on all of them. So he took stories were inspired from contemporary American authors, including Stephen King. Yeah. See, and he's got like one main character in all of them, like Stephen King does. But he invented that, and the director and writer kind of got inspiration from that guy. Took his demon, completely made up. Because I was thinking, oh, this has got to be real. That's got to be a real story. About the demon at the womb and taking the treasure.
It made a lot of sense, I
mean, it seemed like such a typical like God story, like Greek or Roman.
Greek or Roman, any god in general, yeah.
So right at the start, we'll just say right at the start, it gets into it, and it talks about the god Hastar, and the Hastar was the first baby of the goddess of prosperity. Mm-hmm. She gave birth to
160 million.
That makes sense why that womb was so fucking big.
It was a big womb.
That thing is like a train station.
Look, man,
People are coming in and out of that thing constantly.
I mean, you got to be impressed with how many gods you can give
keep
birth
up
to.
with them?
I don't know. It's got to be just a mess. You think people complain about having 1 or 2 children?
Imagine my parents rarely call me the correct name the first time, and I have 2 siblings. Yeah. So imagine having 160
trying to keep all the names straight. It's impossible.
But Hastar, he was the first, and he was a greedy little bastard.
He was
kind of the god of greed, I would say.
Yeah.
He right at the start, before he was even born, I guess, he steals his mother's, or the gold of the world. Mm-hmm. And he also wanted to steal her food. But the other gods, they weren't having it.
Nope.
They said, fuck no, that shit's ours. We all get that inheritance.
Yeah, everyone gets it. What do you think? This is Jacob and Esau?
Yeah, so
they that inheritance too.
So they attacked Hastar. But the goddess, she said, I'll protect you, but no one will ever worship you. And you'll be trapped in my womb forever. I don't think she really gave him a choice.
She did not.
I don't think she was asking him. And
it was more of a demand, not a request.
That's the way it went.
It did. It happened that way.
And then years go by, and some guy built a giant castle on it.
Mm-hmm. It was a temple.
Yeah.
It was a temple for Hastar, which they weren't supposed to do. You were not supposed to make a temple for a demon.
Yeah.
And they did anyway.
And I like that, though. I like that. Because, there's always fucking sects of people that worship, like, this weird offshoot of religion or something like that. Yeah. And they're probably thinking, this guy, he loved gold. Mm-hmm. We love gold.
Yep.
Worship this guy. He's going to give us gold. Turns out he loves to take a gold.
And there are 1 or 2 instances, and I'm not saying the whole film, but I saw it just little glimpses of it throughout the film, once or twice. One in particular, kind of the plot line, right? Mm-hmm. Of like this people worshiping this sect, this different type of demon that most people would not worship, right?
Yeah.
And then another thing that reminded me of Ari Aster was when the child fell from the tree. And that scene was brutal. When you see the kid just laying there.
I thought so too.
I was like, wow, that was very Ari Aster.
You're right. That's exactly right. I didn't think about it at the time, but because it happened so quick and so instant. Yes. And there's no build-up at all.
None.
Yeah, and I thought that was and it almost was like that kid's cursed. Like that's what I was thinking was like.
Well, because he was a greedy little bastard, and that was his mom was telling him. He's like, you're just like your father.
And that's the whole
just
thing.
Like
it's a story about greed.
It is
100%. It's the story about greed, But yeah, right at the start, we get introduced to the main character, and his dad was like, or his mom takes care of the guy who owns the castle, the fortress.
Yep.
She's doing all kinds of sexual favors for him, whatnot.
Because she wants that single gold coin.
Yeah.
Yep.
The coin that's in the altar of Hastar.
Correct.
And it's this hilarious sculpture. That's like, I mean, it looked like it was put together 4,000 years ago, right? Because it's very crude, but yeah, and that's it. And she has her son, and this is 1917, right? When this is taking place,
1917 or 18, yeah.
So and the main character's son ends up dying, and he ends up vowing to go back and get all the gold and whatnot, and that's pretty much how it's cool because that's a flashback. And it goes back, and it's like 1947 because it's right during India's independence. So It's a cool time to make a film anyways. Yep. And I think that's like 1940 something, 7 or something.
Right, yeah. And I guess there was extensive research on like the British soldiers, that outfit that they had, whatever, the army.
It's like the safari cat.
Yeah, there you go.
Like the Jumanji guys.
Yes.
Yeah, like the bad guy from Jumanji.
But I thought it looked really good, too.
Well, it all looks amazing. You definitely believe that it's taking place in the truck, the bus that keeps bringing them back and forth. That looks super real.
And then the car outside of their house, too, looked really good.
Oh,
1947.
Yeah. So let's just dive into the scenes that we like, because right at the start, the scene of the grandmother, the great-grandmother.
I love how they built that up, too. It wasn't immediately, and there were so many moments, too, where I was like, we're not going to see the grandmother. Because it would always show like little pieces, like looking through the wooden.
Well, we show her.
But I love the build up towards it because I was shocked when we actually did see her.
Yeah.
Because, she's clipping her toenails and the foot's not looking good.
My God.
That's a severe case of athlete's foot.
Gnarly.
Very, very disturbing.
Clipped those toenails?
What's the point?
I don't know. We learned that lady, she can live forever. because she took the gold.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's tried to get the gold, and Hastar touched her. And if he touches you, you'll fucking live
because
forever.
Apparently greed runs in the family.
Yeah.
That's something that we've seen.
And we can talk about it, but the cinematography in this movie is unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And it's
such impressive
That's what
work.
this movie does so well is some of the scenes are so creative. It's just stuff that you've never seen before. The scene with the grandma and the tree growing through her, I thought was so fucking cool and unique.
Great.
It looked so unique and
the
so
heart
awesome.
beating too within the tree.
Yeah,
I was just like, whoa.
And her still being live, and when I love that, man. It was just super, super cool and unique. But yeah, that was awesome. Great practical effects too. No CGI or anything like that. And you can see like the limbs moving when she moved and everything like that. It was super cool. But yeah, Grammy not doing so well.
No, she's not. It's not looking good for her.
Yeah, and we don't know yet like what's going on, but we know that they've been looking for the gold, and everyone knows there's gold somewhere. There's a treasure somewhere, and right now they think it's in like a well, deep in a well. Mm-hmm. Really, it's like in a well in a well.
Yeah, well, it's in the goddess of prosperity's womb.
Yeah,
and it's definitely
deep.
a womb.
I'm guessing they had to climb deep down to the earth for that. But yeah, that scene was super, super cool. My biggest complaint about this film was probably the pacing, I thought. The pacing kind of wove in and out to where there's some slow, right? That start where we get the grandma and him feeding the grandma and her taking the nails out, that was awesome.
That was gruesome too, yeah.
Super
it looked
cool.
really awesome.
Super gruesome. But then we get a long while in between that before we see something else.
When I love kind of how, too, when the grandma it's dragging him by the chain and being like, I'm going to eat your flesh. And I'm like,
at first I was like,
God.
yeah, because she threw the chain around him. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? I thought she just chained him to something else. Because I'm like, how did she get unchained for one? But no, she just didn't want him to get away.
No, she wanted to eat him.
Yeah, because Gammy's hungry. Yeah. She's always hungry.
And it was a very tense scene, too, because the whole time he's trying to remember the name Hastar. Because remember, the mom foreshadowed this where go to sleep or her star will get you or will come for you. And the child, remember when his brother fell out of the tree, she was like, you have to feed her tonight. Just remember the name Hastar. And then he doesn't remember the name.
And at first you're not knowing, like, she's got to be fed all the time, like she's a fucking gremlin or something. Exactly. Like, you can't feed her after midnight so you really don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. But it does, so it keeps you wondering, but it all kinds of explains it at the end, what people do with the hunger and whatnot, because it explains it. It's super cool, yeah.
They have to eat flour because they have all the riches, but they don't have the flour. They didn't get both.
Because Hastar, he only got to the gold before the fucking other gods could just beat the shit out of him. Yeah. So he's always hungry. Mm-hmm. So that's how they got to go down to the womb and throw him little rice babies, little flower babies. Yeah, like you would take home in like 8th grade. And I thought was really cool was making a reasoning of why they're so hungry all the time. Because he. It's cool, it's cool inventing gods.
Well, yeah, and it was unique too. It was an original story that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do, especially
with
in horror too.
And with gods though, because there's a lot of gods.
There are a ton of gods.
A lot of gods in so many religions that you would have to think damn near every story has been told by now. Mm-hmm. But I thought this was something that was really clever and cool, Yeah. Stole our god in the womb, or stole our gold. We
got to talk about, too, and I know we glanced over the cinematography, but some of the shots more specifically, I love the way they use lanterns in this film. Natural light with lanterns.
Yeah, a lot of natural light.
It gave a certain element that I don't see in a lot of movies. It always seems like you can see the whole room. But they used over 50 lanterns for this movie, and it was just natural light from the lanterns.
And
I loved it.
Yeah, the entire atmosphere is super good. I mean, it takes you in the movie with it always being raining whenever they go back to the castle.
Back to
Tumbbad. Because he says it's cursed, right? Because it rains all the time or something.
Yeah, because the gods pour down.
Yeah. Just shit on that place.
Yeah,
you don't want to live there.
No.
You do not want to live there, and for good reason. But yeah, that was awesome. But we get some time of that, and eventually it's a long time past because he figures out, it takes him a long time to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But then we get the scene of the womb. And him first descending into that womb and showing the light and everything and showing the walls breathing.
Yes.
It looks amazing, man. I mean, it's you wouldn't want to tear it down. You just want to keep it.
Yeah, you want to keep it just for keep's sake.
It's awesome. But But I liked also how the story went, how they didn't tell you until you knew how he was getting the gold.
Yep.
That I thought was super clever. How it ended up being that every time he goes down, because
when they show the training,
he would come back up and he would like have 2 pieces. Then he would come up, he have like 16 pieces.
And too, throughout the film, they would have other characters ask him, "How are you getting these gold coins? How are you getting this money?"
Well, it was mostly just the opium dealer, who I thought had just way too much time, in my opinion, on the screen. Yeah. That's where it lagged for me pacing wise. Where it was just the whole thing of him and opening the business up with the British guy.
Yeah,
we just got way too into that.
It did, yeah.
Show it one time and just know that he's on a limit.
I think the only reason why they did that, though, is to show that he was doing something with the money, because at the same time, that is who the character is. He's very greedy. Therefore, getting into the opioid business is kind of a reflection on opioids and how they're overused by a lot of people.
Well, I mean, back then it was business.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't against the law. You get.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I just thought that we spend a lot of time with the opium guy, the dealer guy. But yeah, but it's worth it because he has a great death.
He does.
Because that guy, he's sneaking around.
He's trying to get the gold. He's greedy himself.
Because no one knows how he's getting this gold. So he sneaks in, and the guy tricks him to going down.
He does.
And you know that's a fucking death wish.
Yeah.
Because that's the first scene we get with Hastar.
Yeah. And Raghav does not live long to see any gold at all. He goes down with the lantern, right? And he sees this pot there. And he opens the pot slowly, and come to find out it's a human-shaped flower.
Yeah. And you don't want to open
confused. That. No, it's not.
So that's ringing the dinner bell.
And you start hearing some hissing, and you're like, you know what? There might be a snake in here. It's all good, not a big deal. It's an underground place. No, it's not a snake. It's Hastar himself, and he takes him, and he just, the CGI just bam tackles him, and then he drags him up the wall. I love that.
That is what looks amazing.
That looked incredible.
That again reminded me of Ari Aster. With those scenes of like in the background of like Hereditary. Yeah, exactly. With the mom floating.
Yeah, and it's just crawling up the wall and stuff. Yeah,
and it's shot so well. It's off-centered camera, so it's never right on it. So you have to look kind of out of center to see it.
And it does it feels more, I don't know, eerie, more creepy because you're not getting the full view of it.
Yeah.
You're not getting the full view of this demon carrying this man up.
It's such a good scene. Yeah, it is good. And then that guy kind of just becomes the wall or whatever like that. And but because he's been touched, he's going to live forever.
Yeah. And the prosthetics looked incredible. His eyes in that just all red and like gone, and his skin being all like dark, and it looked like he was part of the wall, part of the wound.
That was good, yeah. And they shoot it in a way where the womb looks massive. Like it looks bigger than I think what it really is. I mean, it looks like it goes on for like hundreds and hundreds of feet. Like once you're in there, it could just keep going, But yeah, he gets part of that, and that was really cool. And he eventually lights him on fire.
To save him, because that's the only way to kill him.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing he also did to his grandmother as well.
Yeah, that's how he got her to tell. She finally fucking unbuttoned those goddamn lips and said, "All right, it's in the well. Just burn the shit
down, please. Yeah. I'm ready to go."
Oh, my God.
You promised.
She was there for like 40 years, too.
She was. A long time just relaxing, just chilling there. I mean, I'd kill me, too. Because remember, he asked his son, too, which I love this scene. He asked his son, if you could be the wealthiest person alive, but all you could do is eat and sleep, would you want to do it? And he goes, yeah. And then he smacks him, and he goes, no, it's a curse.
Yeah, but that's all he's doing it. I mean, we see it. That's the whole thing, is you see him getting greedier and greedier. Yeah. And at first you're thinking, oh, maybe there's no curse at all, and the curse is just greed. Yeah. It's just like a metaphor or whatever. Like once you get this gold, but no, there's a real demon down there.
There's definitely a real demon.
Very real, and it'll kill you. And no one seems too surprised when they see this guy.
No, they don't. I know the kid actually.
Even 1917 times, it'd be like, oh my God, are we not?
Are we not all like panicking? Yeah. What's going on?
Can we at least talk about it for a second? Gosh. But no, because the kids are just as greedy as the fucking dad.
It's a generational thing.
Because I like that too, is he starts off very poor, and then he gets richer and richer, and he starts treating other people shittier and shittier with like the mistress and everything like that. Yeah. And the kid
then buying
is
it
also
buying it from his friend, because his friend doesn't have any money. Yeah. So he had to sell him his daughter-in-law.
Yeah, the opiate guy, Raghav, or whatever. That's brutal.
That
sucks when you got
not the funnest
sell.
thing in the world.
And it's not even your daughter; it's your daughter-in-law. So what's the real father thinking about this?
Like, he might not be around. Doesn't sound like he's in the picture.
What's the son thinking then?
He's probably dead.
Then why is the daughter-in-law still hanging out with this guy?
I know. You got to bounce at that point. This guy's trying to sell you off.
Yeah, but they do. And that was like just a mistress. A mistress,
and
the mom was not happy about it.
No, she wasn't, because this earlier on, before they flash forward to present day, 1947 or 1948, 1947. But before that, she was living there for a little while, but she kicked her out.
Yeah.
Because she said she caught him, essentially caught her.
Yeah, she's a mistress.
Yeah, she's a mistress.
They fuck.
They do. That's what they do.
That's literally, I think that's the only job. I mean, I don't think, they don't do anything else, but.
And I love this scene with the boy, too, his son. What's his name?
I don't know, but that's the thing that's what I was going to bring up, is you see his son is just as greedy as the dad. Yeah. He passed that along.
Pandering. That's right, pandering.
Of course, pandering. And the son is just as greedy as the dad, and you can see it worries the dad.
Yes.
And another great scene. All the greatest scenes take place in the womb.
They do. Yeah.
I mean, because he takes the son down there eventually.
Mm-hmm. And his son gets greedy.
Immediately. And you see how much quicker it's happening now, too.
The escalation compared to when he was a boy.
Yeah, and compared to his grandfather or whatever, who didn't do anything.
It just keeps building and building with greed.
It's getting quicker and quicker, absolutely. And it's getting worse and worse. Because again, the son was born into luxury. Mm-hmm. So he just wants more and more gold. Even though they're fucking loaded, he was like storing away a little bit at a time every time. Yep. And he's got fucking gold to blow. But yeah, it takes his son down there. Son immediately gets fucking greedy. Mm-hmm. He's just taking it in. It's just like a field trip. Go down there, you're not doing anything.
No.
Go down there, check out the womb, do whatever you got to do.
I liked how, too, before we get to that, how he was very distant with his son. Like, his son was like, Dad, I finally did the training right. I got 19 coins. Son still has no idea what he's doing, and the dad's still very cold to him. Yeah. He doesn't even say good job or anything.
He's got the whole, like, jungle gym setup of a play womb. Like, he can go into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess he told his family enough. Like, I got to go in there and get it out of pouch, because the kid knew something, obviously. Yeah, he did. But, the kid just wanted, and then the dad beats the kid constantly a lot.
Always hitting him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the kid just wants gold.
He does.
But he thinks that's all his dad wants out of him.
Right, and that's what his dad expects. That's what he thinks.
Because that's his dad only knows now at this point. He's not treating anyone well. He only knows gold, and wealth and whatnot. So it's a cool scene. Takes his son down there, and the son immediately goes after a star. Mm-hmm. Not a good choice.
Not wise, because you get touched by this guy and you're cursed.
Yeah, so the main guy barely saves him. It's an awesome scene.
Yeah, it is. I like how they do the ring too. Yeah, of like
I don't know,
like salt or whatever. Yeah. But it's a common thing, like you see even in American film where it's like
I assume it's not wheat.
No, it couldn't be wheat. No, because they just eat it. Just eat the circle and then you.
Yeah.
It's like some I don't know, like salt or something.
Maybe salt circles are universal.
It is universal.
That might be.
Yeah.
Salt's so good for everything.
It is. Even warding off
away
demons. Yes. Yeah. Demons, ghosts, spirits.
Sea bears, anything.
Slugs.
Yeah, you do anything.
They won't come near you.
So they do that, or he takes him in there and barely gets away. They get out again. He beats the crap out of him.
He does.
Yeah. But
he beats him up and he says, "I'm going to cut your head off."
Yes.
He tells his son he's going to cut his head off. I'm like, dude, you got to relax. You might have some anger issues, my guy.
And all the scenes with the father and son are super good.
They are.
They're all really good. You can tell that kid just wanted to impress his dad or whatever. And
that was his sole purpose.
You can tell his dad did not want any part of it.
No.
Just nothing. He just when you know in the back of your head you got a demon locked away in your old ancestral. I mean, it's a lot weighing on your head.
Well, and the fact that your son could potentially die too. One mistake and your kid could die. I think that's why he was so distant from his son.
And knowing that
because he kind of used his son.
Yeah, and knowing that no matter what, that kid's going down there. Mm-hmm. No matter what, you can't do anything to stop it. But and eventually though, his son comes up with a good idea.
It is a pretty good idea. I mean, in all fairness, hats off.
I mean, it's
the
fact that the dad never thought about that kind of blows my mind. Yeah. But that's probably the ending scene is him and his son going down there and getting the gold or whatever.
And it was a very tense moment. But again, the climax of this movie was so good, and it was right towards the end because as they start to they're making all this weed. I love how they partied right before they went down too. That scene where they were like having a good time and partying. Yeah. Like, you know what?
Dad's buying him women.
Yeah, he's
stuff.
buying him women. And
something interesting, which I got to bring up, because I knew it happened places, but every time a smoking scene came on, smoking hazardous for your health.
I wanted to bring that up too. I'm so glad you did. Smoking is injurious to your health.
Yeah, they have to do the warnings. They do that. Crazy. I think they do that in China too, and a few other.
Yeah. It does make sense, but a little bit. I was more amused from it only because we never see it in our film.
Oh yeah, I'd hate it.
Because it is a little distracting when I have to look down and I'm like, why put that there? But I guess it's the law. It has to be the law.
Oh yeah,
they wouldn't just do it for fun.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely the law. Yeah, but I mean, all of our cigarettes have that warning on them.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't know if that's the same way they do it in India or not, but
maybe that's their form of telling people, "Hey, this is bad for you," but we still do.
That's just a little more conservative for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Of putting the warning on there. If the people in charge had it their way, that is how it would be in America.
I would almost prefer, like, as you're rolling the opening credits, to just put "smoking is injurious for your health."
Well, I'm sure it's probably in the rating.
Yeah, it would have to be. You would think so,
adult for smoking.
Smoking, yeah.
I know. It's just the hypocrisy of it all because it's like, oh my God, we're watching this demon rip people apart.
But at the same time, smoking is bad.
Yeah, the smoking kills. Like, I think we know. If I'm adult enough to watch this and know that.
Yeah, you're not going to bring your 6-year-old to this film.
I know.
Expect him not to piss himself.
But anyways, it's an awesome. I thought they ended it perfectly. Where it was, they ended up ending it to where. They go down there. He gets greedy because he's going to give him all the dolls, and he's thinking,
and his son pours out all the dolls.
Because I was thinking immediately, why not go down there with like 50 dolls
and just keep throwing them,
and he'll be
grabbing more gold,
and he'll be just obsessed for days. You just keep dipping your hands in there,
dipping your greedy little
filling a bucket or something.
In there.
Yeah, I mean, your greasy paws, but no, apparently.
It multiplies a star.
But great, I love that writing, man. That's so good and so dark.
It is.
Because as soon as they start throwing out, you start saying,
I like the way they told the story too, because they bring out one and then the second one, but we only see Hastar coming down the wall, crawling down the wall as usual.
But the kid is pulling out by like the handful.
But then we get a close up of Hastar, and then he turns into two, and there's a second Hastar right next to him. That's what I liked. I was like, whoa, the big reveal.
Well, it's awesome because the dad is only watching it, but the son is just
going
crazy. And the dad goes, no, and he flips the whole bag over, and there's 50 of them. I thought that was really...
stars, yeah, and they all crawl down.
Really clever writing, really dark, too. I like that because you really... At this point, you thought it was bad.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well.
And this was like probably my favorite scene in the movie because it looked great. We were wondering what the force field was about.
Yeah.
Right? When we watched the trailer and we reacted to it, and I loved it. I thought it looked great when the Hastars were trying to get them, when they're trying to climb
they're
up.
All falling
and they're falling, and they're falling over this force field and then just disintegrated.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
Because what the shitty part about it is you can distract him, but you got to make your way up the rope and hope he doesn't get you
first.
It's a race every
time.
It is a race. It's like this close every time.
Do you remember Pandaram one time was like, Dad, wait for me. He's like, to hell with you, boy.
And he's doing the fucking Navy SEAL with no legs just going up.
He's like, if you make it, son. But if not,
I forgot to tell you about this part. It's the ending. It's a fucking race up the rope. Yeah, that part's brutal, but and then the dad ends up wearing a fucking gingerbread suit.
He does. He sacrifices himself for his son, which was a little surprising to me, and I kind of like the development of the character because I did not see that coming. I thought this guy was too selfish and too greedy to ever do something like this for his son, who he's been apparently distanced since the day he was born.
I did. I liked it, but it even showed it at the end that he was still fucking greedy.
Oh yeah, because he's cursed now.
All he cared about.
All messed up.
That's all he cared about still.
Yeah,
and
greed consumed him. It's kind of like the Moby Dick thing too, where it just absolutely consumed his
And
life.
even though he was doing it, quote, for his son, he still had the forethought to be like, well, I'm getting tagged. I might as
still
well
gonna grab that gold
like,
for
who's
one
thinking
last
how
time.
greedy you got to be on your deathbed.
Right.
And still be like, I got to take a little more.
And it's very interesting, too, because it's almost like he was cursed before he was actually cursed. He was cursed with greed.
Oh,
that he could never like get over. Even after the fact he was
that
cursed.
Was the whole thing about the
lost.
Mom saying, "Promise me you'll never go back to
Tumbbad.
Promise me." And she was telling him. Remember, she was telling him to beat the shit out of him. Yeah.
And she gave him the single gold coin.
She
and
said,
he went,
"Throw it." She said, "Throw it."
Yeah, she
and
goes,
you knew
"Do it."
immediately. Yeah, great foreshadowing for that. But
absolutely. Very well written story too.
Absolutely.
And I got to say, this film had an original runtime of 200 minutes. They cut it down to about 100 minutes.
Well, remember, this was the film where the guy did a 700
storyboard
page storyboard,
which is insane for a story.
That's like The Godfather or something like that, or like The Irishman or something like that. A 700-page storyboard.
There was so much that went into this movie, and what baffling. I
really want to know what they cut out. I'm gonna guess they cut out. It's a lot more.
Well, it had to be reshot. They said they weren't satisfied with the film initially, so they went back and continued to shoot. I believe there were 4 different shooting schedules, 4 different dates.
Don't
like
look.
4 different times.
Don't look.
Okay.
Guess the budget.
No, we already know the budget from the trailer reaction.
Oh,
that's why for me, that was what I was just about to say. It was so impressive to me that this film was made for $700,000.
Less than $1 million.
Less than $1 million. In just the cinematography alone, this guy's got to be getting paid way more than this. Like this guy, like really, really good work. I love the colors, like when they did have colors, and then when it was really rainy and Tumbbad just looked dark and just like a very cursed place.
You could never make a movie that looks this good.
No.
You couldn't make a movie for 700. Not a full 700,000. That's like a short film budget.
It is. It is about $500,000 to $1 million for a really good short film.
I can't tell you the last movie I saw made. I mean, that wasn't an obvious shot with like the guy's own camera or whatever.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So I don't know the cinematographer's name, and maybe scroll up. Maybe we can see it here. But one of his
he's got an actual wiki, so he must be pretty well known.
Kumar. Yeah, this guy, one of his first projects, he shot entirely on a Canon. One of the films.
Wow.
Yeah, like this guy apparently really knows
look
what he's
I mean,
doing.
he's been nominated almost everything he's done.
Yes.
Man. I want to fucking work with this guy.
I know. I want to see. Oh, everyone says Ships of Theseus is something else we have to watch.
Yeah,
he did. Really good.
That's another one. That must be another horror film.
It is another horror film. They said it's just as good, if not better, than Tumbbad.
Because it premiered at the Transylvania International, and they're only having horror films in Transylvania.
Yeah, of course.
I don't even think you're allowed to show anything G-rated PG in Transylvania. They'll beat you.
They definitely will.
They will be public shaming. But this guy, he's been the cinematographer, but the director doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, which is surprising.
Yeah. Because even the fake demon has its own Wikipedia page.
You figure the director of the film would. Maybe he just doesn't want to be in the limelight.
Well, I'm guessing. Well, I'm not guessing that star. He's featured more in like all those guys' books.
Books,
just like it. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Is he got the inspiration of a star from Pennywise.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because Pennywise is a god.
Mm-hmm.
He fell just like a star.
An ancient alien too, billions of years old.
That's cool, man.
Super cool.
I mean, what do you think about it? Let's end there. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's about all I got for it too. Dude, for the very first Indian film that we were able to review, this is a very good start.
It's a very good start.
And you and I really enjoy horror films too. And it's so hard, and we complain so often in the States about generic ass horror film movies that just get cheap jump scares and don't do anything for us. Right?
Yeah.
This one was a great story. I love the way they opened the film. I love the way they concluded the film. I love the overall message of greed and how greed can consume your life if you're not careful. And then you can also pass that down to your children. It can be a generational thing. I loved the practical effects of a star. I thought it looked incredible. The womb looked great. The cinematography was awesome. The lanterns. I mean, I love the natural light that they used. It gave it a very dark feeling, too, and a very scary feeling, even when he was a young child taking care of his grandmother. They were scary. They were like really, really scary and great moments. I highly recommend this for anyone who wants to watch a foreign film.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. I'm always impressed when I see anything new in film.
Yeah,
just because not to brag, I've seen some films,
you've
so
watched a lot.
So it's really hard to do something completely new. But
and original.
When I see something completely new, like that womb. The womb room and the tree and everything, that's something that really blows me away.
Definitely.
So, I would say I would highly recommend it as well. Definitely see it. I think if you're going to just dip your toes into Bollywood or just Indian cinema, I think this is a good one just to start off. Because Because like we talked about it a lot, but it does mirror Ari Aster a lot. I'm sure it's completely unintentional. I mean, but these are just two great horror film directors,
and they've got the good vision for it.
I want to see this director do something else. I don't know. He probably has
crazy.
Done more
He doesn't have a wiki page. I really wish he had more on him. It's wild. He does not have a wiki page.
He probably has more movies, but we don't know about it. I hope he just does horror films though. That's what I'm
exactly. Kind of like an Ari Aster as well.
I want to see that, but that's all I got for it.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's about it then, Cash.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Because I was gonna look him up, but I can't even find anything on him.
It's hard to do.
Thanks for watching, guys.
He might not be a real person.
No, he might not be. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below. What were your thoughts on Tumbbad? If you've seen it, let us know how you liked it. And be sure to comment anything that we may have missed, any cool facts for other people who are watching this video as well. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification. We're posting videos on this channel every day. You can find our podcast, and this will also be a podcast episode. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, which you can find anywhere. So thanks for watching, guys. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.